The Pittsburgh Steelers missed bad on an opportunity to land Isaiah Simmons, which I understand is a controversial topic, and there will be people who say, well, he never lived up to the hype, and he's still a developmental piece. We don't know what the Steelers would even get out of Isaiah Simmons. Who cares? For a 7th-round pick, do you want to know what you're getting? Again, who cares? A guy who's a former first-round pick who, when you look at his stat line, is not terrible. He's got 50 games of experience. 37 of those are starting games. 4 interceptions, 1 touchdown. He's got 16 pass deflections, 7 forced fumbles, 2 fumble recoveries, 7.5 sacks, and he has nearly had back-to-back 100 tackle seasons. You're telling me that Isaiah Simmons isn't a piece that you add for a 7th-round pick? You're telling me that Isaiah Simmons isn't a piece that the Pittsburgh Steelers could find a spot for, or worst case scenario, doesn't work out? The Steelers had an opportunity in the spring when we first talked about this, and this isn't the first time that we brought this up, and it won't be the last time that we'll probably talk about this now that it's happened. For those of you who do not know, the New York Giants have acquired former first-round pick from the Arizona Cardinals for a 7th-round pick, according to multiple reports at this point. A 7th-round pick for a guy who is entering year 4 of his NFL career, who, again, doesn't have a terrible stat line, even if he doesn't have a position, even if he's a guy that is still a question mark, that you are looking at and saying, we don't know who or what Isaiah Simmons could possibly be. It doesn't matter. Chess pieces are part of the Pittsburgh Steelers, and I've already had one person come at me and say, well, he's not even a checkers piece. Yeah, he is. You want to know who's a checkers piece? Trey Norwood, who they have given opportunity after opportunity after opportunity to be that versatile weapon. Now they're looking at Keanu Neal to be that versatile weapon, but he's probably just going to play safety. Isaiah Simmons is a guy who is that chess piece, who is a utility piece, who could play inside linebacker, who could play outside linebacker, who could play off the edge as a nickel, who could cover, who could play corner, who could play safety. The guy has experience everywhere. There is no need for the Pittsburgh Steelers to avoid a piece like this for literally no compensation. If you're willing to give up a conditional 7th-round pick, and I get it, the William Jackson trade is as low of a trade as you could possibly make. But if you are willing to give that up for a guy who took 2 days of practice reps and then never touched a football field in Pittsburgh again, you should have been willing to make a phone call to the Arizona Cardinals and try to acquire Isaiah Simmons. That's all it would have taken. And the Steelers didn't. And in an offseason where Omar Khan has hit and hit and hit and hit, it is very unlike him to realize now that he whiffed so bad on this acquisition. There's no accusations here. Isaiah Simmons is a piece that the Steelers should have made a phone call for. And if the Arizona Cardinals were willing to give the New York Giants, an NFC opponent, a team that, I get it, the Arizona Cardinals are not Super Bowl bound, but if they make a run of some sort, chances are they're going to have to go through New York. You're willing to give up a key piece to your defense for nothing to an NFC team. You're willing to do the same for an AFC team, and you're more willing to do so. The Steelers could have landed Isaiah Simmons without any questions, with 0 hard times, with almost no negotiations. And I get it. Instead, they have Keanu Neal, who I feel really good about. They have Cole Holcomb and Quan Alexander and Landon Roberts, who I feel really good about. They have Elijah Riley and Shannon Sullivan, who have been very impressive. But I think they could have kept all those guys and found a way to work Isaiah Simmons in as just a piece that plays everywhere. And worst case scenario, he replaces a guy like Tanner Muse, and he's just a special teamer. But you have a former first-round pick who is crazy athletic, who, again, in 3 years in the NFL, has put up 4 interceptions, a touchdown, 16 pass deflections, 7 forced fumbles, and 2 fumble recoveries on top of 7.5 sacks. This is a guy that you could find something for. And again, worst case scenario, he is your key special teamer. It just made way too much sense Way too much sense for the Pittsburgh Steelers to go out and whiff this bad on Isaiah Simmons. They should have landed him. We've been saying this for months that they should have made those phone calls, and this should have been a Steelers trade, but it wasn't. Shout out to the Giants for a complete steal. I don't know what the Arizona Cardinals are doing. Maybe we should get Donnie Druin over here and we should ask him, but for right now, man, anybody who's sitting around and feeling okay that the Pittsburgh Steelers missed this bad on a guy who's still got plenty of potential, who's only, I believe, 24, 25, just turned 25 years old. I don't know. I don't feel good about this at all. This is a huge loss for the Pittsburgh Steelers.